Every now and then in life, you come to a milestone, and this milestone was my son on Friday, turned 18. So we'll see him many years later. Of course, people react to milestones differently. I think my wife cried. I thought, when's he getting a job? But when you come to these milestones, you can, and don't always have to, but I often reflect back on my life. I wonder how God will judge my life. I'm certainly keenly aware of my mistakes and shortcomings and sins and foolishness over the years, but also there have been many things that I, by God's help and grace, have been able to accomplish. Certainly, I'm sure you have things in your life that you look back on and you think those were milestones. Graduating from high school, graduating from college if you went, certainly a milestone. If you're able, if God blessed you to find a spouse, to find your spouse is a great milestone. Certainly to find your career, to find a place where you can work productively is a great accomplishment. Perhaps you've, anybody here discovered any new inventions? Maybe not. Write books, all kinds of things that we may have done in our life we look upon as milestones and accomplishments. Yet I wonder how God will judge me and the things that I've been able to do over my lifespan. And I come to realize that, of course, there will be only one measure. And sometimes I think, and this may sound kind of odd, but sometimes I think that orthodoxy can, if we allow it, can blind us to a great truth. Because we often think about the saints and we look at their accomplishments. We look at the fact that some of them had great abilities to know the hearts of people. Some had miracle-working abilities. Some, like the disciples, were given the power over unclean spirits. Some were great fasters, and so on and so forth. And so we can look at that and, of course, wonder when we stand before God how we will be judged. Because besides other accomplishments, I wonder what my spiritual accomplishments are or not. And so when I look at the saints, sometimes I despair. I'll never forget the time I read, I think it was St. Macarius, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I was laying on his deathbed and a disciple going around. He begins to weep, and why are you weeping, Father? Because I don't want to die. I said, Father, you're perfect in holiness. Anyone should be ready to go to be with the Lord. It should be you. And he said, oh no. He said, I don't want to die. I've not even begun to repent. And I thought, for heaven's sakes, if this man hasn't even begun, where am I in my spiritual life? How will I be judged? Whatever accomplishments I have attained. But I've come to realize that none of that matters. Well, it matters in a way, but what I accomplish, that I have accomplished in my life, or I can point back to, is these milestones in my life. And whatever I think I've accomplished spiritually ultimately will not be what I'm judged by. What I'll be judged by is, and it can sound a bit maudlin, I guess, but I'm going to be judged by love and how well I love. That would be the measuring stick by which I'm judged. Not whether I could stand before you and speak with the tongues of angels, be eloquent in my speech. I will not be judged by that. I will not be judged whether I became able to cast out your demons, or I wished I could, and my others as well. I will not be judged by that. I will not be judged by how much I give to the poor, how perfectly I keep the fast or not, how much I pray or not, or how much of my earthly finances I've given away to the poor or not. All those things will not be the measure of my judgment. What will be the measure will be love. Because you see, if I truly love, then I will keep the Ten Commandments. Because if I love you, I will not steal from you. If I love you, I will not covet what you have. If I love you, I certainly won't murder you. If I love you, I won't bear false witness or false judgment against you if I truly love you. And so if I love you, if I truly am a person of love, I will naturally and easily keep the commandments. And why should it not be so? Because to go and stand before God, I go and stand before He who is absolute love. As John tells us in his letter, God is love. And so it is that by that standard that I will be measured. Well, I could say it can sound a bit maudlin because we all say, well, then I'm okay because I'm a loving person, aren't I? I love my wife, I love my job, I love my church, I love my priest, I love my family. So I should be fine, right? Maybe. Let's check again the yardstick by which St. Paul measures love. Love is patient. Already on the trouble. Love is patient. I read a line yesterday, a little saying that said, I'm not going to procrastinate until tomorrow. And I think in the same ways that patience, it's just something that has to be learned. But I think I've gained patience, and then sure enough, something comes along, or something is said, or something is done. My patience goes out the window. Love is kind. I'm not always so kind, at least not in my thoughts. Sometimes I can be very kind to people in my gestures. I'm very pharisaical. I can be very kind to them, be very sociable. Yet in my mind, I'm anything but kind. Love is not envious. I have to confess, I'm envious of Paul, but he's in Jerusalem, I'm here. Although I love all